There's just one thing left. Kill me. Kill me and everything will be over. I thought I was a descendant of the clan that protects Videmarli. The ones who have the blood of the devils. But the truth is, I was created by Arius. I could become a monster and attack the humans at any time. Now, kill me. It's your job to hunt devils. Was incomplete. But the door to the demon world is... Wait. What are you doing?
My job is hunting devils.
Once you enter the demon world, you may never be able to return. I'll go. I'm expendable. You don't need to worry about me. I'm happy if I can die like a human.
No. Devils never cry.
But...
Let's leave it to fate. Heads, I go. Tails, you go. See you around.
Don't you want to hear the story about Sparda from Mathieu?
I know. He did the same thing. Hold on to my coin, Lucia.
Dante. Arius? It seems I have to finish him off myself.
Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the final part of the Devil May Cry 2 commentary. And yes, as we're seeing right here, the ritual has gone a bit awry, because as you can see here, rather than usurping the power of Argosax, yes, it seems that Arius is in fact possessed by Argosax. Oh dearie me, the usurper has been usurped. But yeah, that is, well, it's a kind of cut to brass tacks here in terms of story. This is very much what, what Argosax's whole game was pretty much all about. He promised people divinity, but instead, all they were really doing was offering themselves to either become pawns as, slaves for his empire, or in turn, basically, become the greater whole of his being. But that's something you'll be seeing as we get later in the part when Dante fights Argosax in the underworld. In the meantime, however, as for what Arius is doing right here, well, again, apart from this boss fight feeling very much like somebody played through Metal Gear Solid 2 and really loved the Solidus-Snake boss fight, yeah, he'll pretty much attempt to football attack you. You launch out some of those energy orbs to, kind of lay out the smackdown. And again, if you get too far away, pretty much launch out a giant laser beam of death. And, overall, pretty decent boss fight, one which you can tank a lot of hits in. He can get a fair few hits in on you. And, yeah, while not quite as difficult as Trismagia or even the one boss fight that's going to be coming up shortly after we're done with the Seer segment right here, yeah, there is actually one other powerful attack that Arius can use upon you, and that's, yeah, if he gets you in that little attack right there, he can actually grab Lucia, absorb her health, and, yeah, basically drain a shitload of your health. Kind of in a similar nature to, yeah, what Orangero could do kind of earlier on. But yeah, Arius' mutation right here is very much, well, a representation of the man he was inside. He drains your health. As such, he was draining everybody's power to strengthen himself. What a bastard. But thus, that's why Lucia is here with her divine anger to rebel against her creator. And again, the irony isn't lost on him that, you know, a demon he created is trying to destroy him. But again, after that little rousing speech by Dante, yes, Lucia is now resolute in who she is and what she wants to be. But, yeah. I'll comment on that a little bit later after the cutscene, but in the meantime, though, yeah, boss fight ho.
You are not human. You are just a monster! A monster that I created!
Dante told me. Devils never cry!
So, something I just want to point out that while being a slightly bigger and more powerful variant, yeah, the fact that Arius is basically, you know, in his Argosax possessed form, pretty much, basically a giant version of, you know, the Mysterio enemies, and, you know, who were very much some of the more basic thralls of the game. Yeah, I mean, considering how powerful of a sorcerer that, you know, Arius was before, yeah, very much the end result of what happens if you become part of a... well, Argosax's fold, and don't worry, you are going to be seeing a bit more of that in Dante's scenario, but, yeah, to kind of talk about enemy dynamics for this version of, you know, the Golgothian Arius boss fight, yeah, it's kind of disappointing, really. I mean, the biggest challenge is really just getting up to the boss to hit it to begin with, which, just can be a wee bit pointless, to be honest. I mean, again, it can, like, throw out attacks to poison you, whip out its little scorpion tail to dish out a bit of damage, but really... yeah, it's nothing to really worry about, so quite frankly, it's just kind of a wee bit pish, to be honest. So again, at this rate, I pretty much just sort of recommend getting into Devil Trigger and just sort of going to town on it when you can, and that's pretty much it. I do kind of wish that this boss fight had a little bit more meat to its bones, or at the very least sort of amped up the difficulty a little bit, but yeah, it's neither here nor there in this case. But for those who do want difficulty, well, let's just say that the final boss fight of Dante's scenario does actually bear a little bit more fruit in both of its phases, so... yeah, I mean, again, I wouldn't say Lucia's final bosses are a total wash, but... I don't know, if she does get the weaker of the two in terms of the lion's share of bosses in the game, but, yeah, again, Dante does get a little bit more... I guess there's maybe a bit of a make-up present to the fact that he isn't really... the central, you know, character arc of the story compared to Lucia, who is very much dealing with her demonic heritage and, well, coming to terms with who she is as a person. Now then, Lucia, let's bring an end to this accursed nightmare. Goodbye, Father. And now, we enter what is the hardest two bosses in the entire game, Argosax the Chaos, and indeed its second form, which you'll be seeing in a little bit. But yeah, as you're, you know, in lieu of a typical boss rush, as is Capcom game tradition, yeah, instead we basically get all the bosses, plus an extra one thrown in as a bonus. In this case, we're basically fighting all the, you know, the thralls and pawns of Argosax the Chaos that are very much absorbed into its being. So yeah, all of the bosses we've been fighting are in fact extensions of Argosax, and in that case, yeah, this entire war is against Argosax itself, but also the extensions of its core beings. In this case, yeah, you see the Nephesturus, you see Phantom, you see the tentacles of Jakargulm, you see Orangera, and indeed you also see the Furia Taurus, and yeah, we see another one that we can kind of peer what it is back there, but I'll save that in a little bit. In the meantime, though, yeah, not even the fact that you're playing on hard mode, even on normal mode, this boss will pretty much eat you alive and still have room for your pussy. So, yeah, building up style ranking, it is incredibly difficult, but can be done if you're adept at dodging. But, again, even if you're just saying, fuck this, and pretty much go for the straight and narrow of just trying to beat the boss normally, yeah, a lot of very aggressive attack patterns, a lot of very damaging attacks, and, well, I mean, yeah, you can technically stay back and fire away, but even that isn't technically going to save you against some phases, particularly Phantom, who, again, has some reminiscent of attacks where he'll pretty much, breathe into the ground, launch up fire pillars, and, pretty much wreck your shit that way. Or, again, firing off, fiery boulders at Dante, and, well, that just generally bring very no bueno. So again, on the whole, we have, a first phase that is very much, a decent final boss fight, and certainly a wake-up call for everybody who thinks DMC2 has just been a sleepwalk the whole way through. So again, if I can't say anything about the finale, I wouldn't say it's a complete make-up present for a lot of people who dislike the game, but, it does very much sort of put you through your paces, and, it does get very reminiscent of, games long since past. You do have a few green orbs scattered around the arena to sort of replenish your health here and there, but by that same token, though, it isn't technically going to save you in a pinch, but, it's neither here nor there in this case. But yeah, poor Dracogorm. All she really has to her name is a tentacle that she can just sort of go, am I hitting him? Am I hitting him? But yeah, if nothing else, it is very much meant to imply that, compared to Mundus, who more or less venerated his subjects with power, and I suppose actively wanted to, create, destroy, and sort of rule over a kingdom, Argosax, on the other hand, just wanted to be everything and encompass all existence, so yeah, it does kind of pay a bit of dividends to, I suppose, how both demon emperors wanted to rule the land. One wanted to, be a facsimile of, well, a god, even though he technically doesn't exist in this universe, or maybe he's just like a myth. Yeah, funny, demons and myths, but there's also myths about other things. Oh, Hideki, it's no you and your Devil May Cry mythology. It hurts my brain. But, yeah, and then you have Argosax, the demon that pretty much swallows the land, and, I suppose very much does sort of pay dividends to Arius' claims of everything that belonged to the devils would eventually revert to its original form. I suppose in this case the demonic corruption, but yes, here's an old friend that we haven't seen in a while, Griffin, who's not appeared in the game, but is there for some reason. Or is it there to imply that the Puyo enemies that we've fought beforehand, basically being those bird enemies, were meant to be Griffin's spawn? Because, I mean, Devil May Cry 1, even in its earlier builds, did actually have Griffin spawn that would end up attacking you, so why didn't they just reuse that instead of new enemies? I have no real idea, I suppose, but I guess in a similar vein to Phantom, that might imply that Griffin is in fact a species that exists in the underworld as opposed to an individual creature, or I guess either that or its return to the underworld basically was caught by Argosax before eventually coming back in Devil May Cry 5. Because, I mean, there was the implication in 5 that, and again, this is really just delving into a bit of trivia with the Devil May Cry 5 prequel novel Before the Nightmare that focuses on V, the mysterious one, where basically V would pretty much try and take back his, his nightmares and demons and phantoms or whatever, and in trying to get the titular phantom, she was basically too powerful, basically meaning that Nightmare, Phantom, and Griffin pretty much had to run away, and, Aquis, I suppose. Oh, but yeah, look at Furitoris, headbanging, yeah, sick music, yeah! And this is the true form of Argosax the Chaos, the despair embodied, and, yes, ever bearing the duality elements, which I suppose was also in fitting with, its, divinity and putridity, is, yeah, a form twixt man and woman, and is definitely, one of the more human enemies that will put you through your paces with difficult attacks, damaging outputs, and, yeah, even on the normal mode, it's pretty much gonna wreck your shit, man. Now, I did try and want to finish off, the Despair Embodied with a giant laser beam of death, but, yeah, sadly I couldn't quite, get him because, the Despair Embodied was pretty much flying around the arena and actively dodging my attacks. Not fair. I want to kill you. But, yeah, this is going to be a boss fight you will likely die on, so, be forewarned. But luckily, if you have any gold orbs as standard, you should be able to revive quick smart on the spot, and basically get back into the fight, so no harm, no foul on that aspect. But if you die after that, well then you're pretty much boogered, my friend. Absolutely fucking boogered. But yeah, either way, it's a great crescendo to end what a lot of people consider to be a very mediocre game, but on the whole though, again, as a boss concept and in terms of its attack patterns, I'm sound as a pound really, so come on Dante, it's time to bring this show to an end. Showtime has come to a close. And so I'll take a drink of the Pepsi and let you do's and dudettes enjoy the cutscene.
You must not worry, my dear. I am sure that he will return. Everything is just as it was with Sparda.
Oh my.
What is it, my dear?
Both sides are heads.
Heads, I go. Tails, you go.
It tricked me. That macho.
Yeah. Let's go all the way to hell.
And so, dudes and dudettes, that was Devil May Cry 2, and in regards to the ending right there, it actually led to a bit of a continuity snafu for a while, where people weren't sure where DMC2 was placed in the timeline. Like, some thought it took place after 4, others thought it took place, you know, after the first game, when it was supposed to. But, yeah, as Devil May Cry 5 will later work it out, and especially the DMC5 trailer that showed Dante riding a motorcycle, yeah, basically, the timeline basically puts Devil May Cry 2 after the anime and after the first game, but before 4, so... yeah, that's kind of a weird oddity, but yeah, Devil May Cry 2. Really enjoyed the game in spite of its faults. Again, the only real thing that really lets it down for me is, well, again, when the combat wears out its welcome, which is only really, to me, evident in levels such as, you know, bringing the Southtown realm closer to the Demon World by activating all the powers, which is really the most video gamey level out of the entire game, but otherwise, apart from the combat, which again you really sort of have to make your own fun and really sort of get the button combinations to get the most out of your combat. Apart from that, I feel like the level designs are actually fairly on point. Again, I enjoyed a lot of the demons that we had to fight with our enemy dynamics in the hard mode. And even on the normal mode, still not too bad, even if a wee bit lackluster, but yeah, I like the environment variety. Again, the urban industrial settings were pretty cool. Again, the gothic architecture, again, Devil May Cry Standard was very ambient and sick. Game does have what's arguably one of my favourite soundtracks in the series, and yeah, I mean, in terms of overall story, really, again, I feel like it tells Lucia's character arc decently well enough, even if it's a wee bit anemic here and there. Dante, while not being the central focus, does still have a few moments of badassery in tandem with a few cheeky one-liners here and there. And again, Arius makes for not necessarily a compelling villain, but at least one that has a memorable presence by, you know, how bored he is of his, you know, luxurious life, and in turn just wants power, simply because he's greedy, and that's his ambition. And indeed, with our main man of the hour, Argosax, again, a really interesting demon concept, one that isn't quite as fleshed out as I would have liked, but one that does have a lot of historical ties towards the Vita Mali. And overall, when it's all said and done, I can still enjoy Devil May Cry 2 in spite of its, well, lackluster efforts here and there. A lot of that is down to Capcom's greed, may I remind you, and honestly, big props to Hideki Itsuno and the development staff for making this game as playable as it is, because there were games developed in, more time than Devil May Cry 2 that came out a lot worse for wear as a result of that, and quite frankly, yeah, Hideki Itsuno, you single-handedly resurrected this series and pretty much gave it a future in a franchise in general, so yeah, my props go out to you. But as for anything else though, in terms of commentary land, without much else to say on DMC2, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 should be resuming operations, as pretty much the main slot after the Halloween season, or then again, this is probably going to cross over into November now that I think about it, so whatever, but yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 will pretty much be continuing on, but after that will be Jak and Dax to the Precursor Legacy, so you have that to look forward to, and yeah, a bit of a chillax game to calm down with over the summer months. Well, in Australia anyway, for the rest of the world it's getting into the winter season. But yeah, don't worry, there's still a bonus video to come with Devil May Cry 2, so you do have that to look forward to as well, with a little bit of bonus action. Excuse me. And on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and I hope you enjoyed the Devil May Cry 2 commentary, if you didn't enjoy the game that much. So, catch you dudes and dudettes later, and here's the ending cutscene.
My job is hunting devils. Devils never cry. I know. He did the same thing.